Alright, so here's another project. Putting up solar panels on the RV roof. I already have the rack. The problem I have is I gotta deal with the AC that's in the middle of the rack. So here's the plan. This is BougeRV 200W CIGS panel, one of those flexible ones. It's gonna go right over here, which means I gotta deal with this antenna over here and then tiny antenna over there. That's the entertainment center antenna for FM AM radio, and this is the TV antenna booster, which I gotta remove both. Which also means if you guys dealt with RVs before, you gotta patch them properly, right? If there's anything I learned from all the videos I've seen with roof patching, is that take your time and do it properly. You don't want to be dealing with leaks and then potentially wreaking havoc inside. This will go on the rack, and then the CIGS will go flat over here. First thing we gotta do is clean up the roof so we don't have dirt and stuff. Here's a closer look on the roof, and here's the rack. This is a 2-inch pipe. I'll be removing this and this, which means I have to patch this area and this area. This area is going to be more involved because I have to put an aluminum plate on it and then screw it in. Inside the RV, this is what's connected to the antenna. This allows you to raise up the antenna and swivel it around as needed. You see some rust areas. This is why you want to inspect the roof all the time. See right there, there's another one. Here's a little scratch over here. This is how the rust will start, and over time it will just spread. You gotta patch them up. Alright, so here's the antenna up position. The only thing I gotta do is take those pins out right over here, unpeel all of the sealers to expose the screws, take the screws out, and go underneath, unfasten the screws from the bottom, and then there's one bolt right over here that I gotta remove as well. That's pretty much it, and then just yank it out and patch it. And this little guy over here, just unscrew. There's an Allen key that I gotta put in there. Fasten the rest of it, and I should be able to rotate and take it out. Of course, I gotta expose the rest of it by taking out the sealers over here too. So I'll do that after washing. And as you can see right over here, there's a little hole over here, and that's the other hole right there. Yeah, I don't know what's going on inside, but I definitely gotta patch it. The roof is now pretty clean. No, it's not gonna be the best. There are some spots I just can't take off because of oxidation. We're gonna let it dry, and I'm gonna work on preparation. Alright, so here's the T-rail, and I basically have screws that go inside the groove here and fasten them like so. And underneath the T-rail will go the VHP tape that will go on top of the roof. So once I'm done, I will show you what that looks like at the end. The VHP tape is now on, and this side I just cut off the end piece, so it's perfect fit. The panel is now up on the roof. Now I gotta take this antenna bit out. I'm gonna cut a piece of aluminum over here, and then just keep it square, and then put it on top of it, patch it up. The antenna is now out, and I did my best to scrape. I don't think I need to really. You can see there's a screw over here. I just tucked it at the bottom, just in case if I ever sell it, next owner wants to put it back, they have the option. Here's my cutout. I'm gonna put some die-core all around it, put it on top. There's really a tiny hole, so I'm not really worried about too much. Once on, you want to use a really heavy-duty roller and make sure it's on really, really good. And there goes the antenna. Took it off. All I did was take these two pins out and pulled out the antenna. It started raining, so I couldn't finish this, but I just wanted to show you guys. This is wire management. I got it from Amazon, and acts as a really good wind deflector, and also it has pretty good VHP tape underneath of it. So I'm gonna put some water seals all along the top. When it rains, you know, hopefully it doesn't get underneath and affect the VHP tape over time. But I put another one on this side and the other side, and anywhere there's a gap, I'm going to do that same thing. But so far I am really liking the setup. It's pretty flat. Can't do anything about the fact that these are a little raised. CIGS panel is really great for shade, so I have this bar over there that's going to cover sometimes, and potentially the way the sun will cast, you'll have some shade this way coming in. And CIGS supposedly are the best in the business when it comes to efficiency under shade. So here's the base of the antenna that I'm about to remove, and I've exposed all the screws, which actually was really easy to get to, surprisingly. And even the screws don't feel they were fastened as tightly as I would like. I'm going to take the screws off, remove it, and then clean this off, and I'll come back and show you guys what the plate will look like. The process is the same, and this time though I'm going to use this as my template to put holes for the screws, and probably use the same screws on top of it and then cover it up. And this right here is how rust gets started. Clearly this wasn't patched well enough. Anyways, I'm gonna clean this whole thing up, and we're gonna patch it. Alright, so I made a hole, not the best looking hole, but it'll do. And just so I can get this through, this makes it really easier to cut around the shape and also make the drill holes as I need them. Alright, here it is, and I'm ready to cut. It's not exact, but it'll do. Alright, so here is the cutout now, and I just put some electric tape to protect the wires that'll be going through from the sharp edges over here. This is die-cord tape that's going to go all around. Once I fasten it with screws, I'll put die-cord all around. Then we'll layer the cable gland over here. We will secure that one as well, and then final step will be to put internal bond all around, and that should be pretty secure. All the screws are in. It's not really 100%. There are some crooked ones, but that's okay. It's sealed in properly with the die-cord tape, and I just gotta seal it up now all around with the die-cord sealant, and then we'll work on the gland. Plate is pretty much sealed in all around in the perimeter. I have the cable gland that will go right over here, but first I have to put on the VISE-GRIP tape all around. Once it's on, secured, I will then once again use die-cord all around, and final stage will be to put in the internal bond tape on it. So alright, so gland is on. It's pretty secure. Alright, now I'm going to put die-cord all around it. I think this is good enough sealant all around. It's not the prettiest, but it is die-cord nonetheless. I don't know how they did this. This is really nice. This is probably a machine, and if you're doing it by hand, this is what it's going to look like. We're going to let it sit for the night, and then tomorrow I'm going to seal it with internal bond. It is now time to make the connectors, and the process is really simple. You just strip the end, put the positive, negative accordingly, and you get the opposites for the both connectors. This is what they'll look like, and the wire will go right over here, and you'll need a crimping tool right over here. So the crimp will happen in the middle one. This is the one for the connector, or the piece I have over there. BougeRV made both wires black, but they do give you a label here to let you know which one is negative and positive. Here is the female end, this is the male end, and the male end will have to take the female bit, right? So it kind of makes sense. We're gonna first crimp the cable and then feed it through, fasten it using these two tools, then connect it. That's pretty much it. It's a lot easier if you just put the pin in first. Once you have the wire through, just gotta go all the way in until it releases. So this is positive, and the connector I have over here, this is the positive one as labeled, and this will take in a male. This is the connector we need for that, and vice versa for the black one, which is the negative. The kit I got has all the tightening tools that come with it, and one nice thing about it is that as soon as it hits the threshold, this tool over here, this one right here, slips. This helps to protect the connector from over tightening or breaking. By the way, this is a really nice tool. I cut the bit off over here and then I just pull it off using this tool right here. It's very nice. As you can see, once you have just a bit cut, you can just pull this and the squeezing mechanism pulls it apart. So here it is. Here's the final setup. Used gray cable management and these fasteners should hold. I'm kind of concerned with water collecting inside of it and then over time becoming loose, but these are cheap enough and you can just come back and replace them easily. It's all done. I'm gonna clean it up and then this will be part one of the video because I can't do the bigger one. There'll be another day. I need extra set of help and I'm gonna be asking one of my friends to come by and help me out, but I'll prep the work and then it'll be easier for us to complete the project. But I'm happy with this so far. I haven't connected it, so hopefully it works. This is what we had for the antenna cover, and in its place I put in a round cable box. I was going to paint this and put it on, but then it looked kind of tacky. Here's the plate for it, which comes separately. Here's the final look. It's not screwed in because I didn't feel like drilling, but with double stick tape or VHP tape, it holds pretty well, so I'm not worried. EcoFlow Delta Max 2 has two of the solar inputs, so PV1 and PV2. I'm going to use PV1, and here are the respective connectors. Alright, the cable is connected and I want to see if it's charging. I also have the EcoFlow air conditioner so that we can take it anywhere without having to connect, and essentially basically the freedom we're looking for. So I have one more that I can put over here, but it's not necessary unless we're really going to long distance and intend to stay for several days.